Welcome back. All the way in from Kelowna this morning, we have Tyrell Johnson. He is a new author, and he has just released in January this book. It's called The Wolves of Winter. Welcome to the show, Tyrell.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, Tyrell's already done a couple of media engagements, but he will be in Kamloops tomorrow at Chapters talking a little bit about this book. It's the first one. First of all, let's hear about your inspiration behind writing a book.
Yeah, well, I've always been interested in the post-apocalyptic genre. There's something maybe fascinating to me about going deep into those fears of what would happen and what would happen if the worst should happen to our world, and what types of characters would be left and how they would live and how they would interact. And so I really wanted to explore that in the setting, and it's specifically in a Canadian setting. It's in the Yukon. And so I started with that sort of base idea and went from there and found a story around it.
That's awesome. So essentially this is about a young woman's tale of survival in the frozen wilderness of the Yukon with her family. They've been living a very meager and desperate experience for 7 years. And then there's some variables that get thrown into the mix.
Yeah, she meets a stranger in the wilderness named Jax, and prior to that she wasn't entirely sure that there was anything left of the world. So this stranger kind of brings the old world into their little encampment, and he brings secrets sort of the past and what happened, and things start to unfold around him and changes her life forever.
Okay, who is this book geared towards? It could be for young adults, it could be for adults.
Yeah, it's kind of pitched as an adult novel, but it definitely has the crossover. I've heard lots of people say that it can read like a young adult novel, so I think it kind of spans the bridge there.
Yes. To better define what this book is like, it's a sort of a cross between the Station 11 and the Hunger Games.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
good description.
Yeah, I loved it. I was actually reading Station 11 while I was starting in to write this, to kind of get myself in the feel of that post-apocalyptic world.
Could this be the start of a series, Tyrell, or do you...
Yeah, you know, the ending is, I hope, pretty complete, and you feel fulfilled at the ending, but it does leave things open that we can go more places with it.
Before you started the book, did you have a general idea what you wanted to do? Because I find, not that I've written a book, but with fiction, you have to have a pretty solid idea of where you're going to start, or do you let it unwind as you go?
I'm kind of a mix. I feel like I have sort of these bullet points that I can visualize. I can see the story, something happening here and ending maybe around here, but how I get there is kind of up in the air. And to me, that's part of the fun of writing, of figuring out where you're going to go and how you're going to get there.
You went to the University of California, Riverside. You got your Master of Fine Arts there. What brought you back into BC?
My wife and her family, when we started having kids, we sort of made our way up here to be closer to babysitters, which is always good.
So are you Canadian, or?
No, I'm from the States. My wife is Canadian.
Yep. Okay, so she is from this region.
Yes, she's from Kelowna. Yeah.
Fantastic. So let's talk a little bit about the fact that you're going to be at Chapters tomorrow.
Yep.
From, well, at 1 o'clock, is that right?
Yep.
And will you be doing some reading from this, or will you just be talking about it? You'll be signing books, obviously.
Yeah, I'll be signing books. I'm happy to do a reading. Maybe we'll do sort of a Q&A, kind of a casual thing, but hoping to sign some books and just talk to some people about publishing and about the book itself.
Good for you. Amongst yourself and other people you know that write books, I'm sure you have friends that are authors. It's a very timely profession, and one that sometimes doesn't pay off in the world of sort of e-books and Kindle and all of that stuff. How does that work for you?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to have, you know, a big publisher, Simon & Schuster, so that we covered all the areas between e-books and print. And
so you can get this on...
Oh yeah, ebook and audiobook. So I've been very fortunate that way to have some excellent publishers that cover, you know, the whole range of publishing.
Is that what makes the difference between having success and sort of getting on and struggling with it?
I think you can have success with smaller publishers. If you've got a great book, hopefully if it finds the right market, the right people, it can blow up. But it certainly doesn't hurt to have someone like Simon & Schuster behind you.
I'll say. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about? We have about another minute if you want to sort of talk about what the next book might look like.
Yeah, I'm going back and forth with my agent right now, potentially talking about a sequel, potentially talking about something else. So it's kind of a fun time I can sort of play with it and do what I want from here. And yeah, it's been a wild ride so far.
Awesome. Your book's obviously online, as you mentioned, but you can also go to Chapters or any other physical stores in town that people can pick it up? Or?
Yep.
Whereabouts? Chapters?
Chapters, it'll probably be at most indie bookstores, and the library probably has it
Good
as
for
well.
you.
And so, yeah, it should be kind of everywhere you can buy books.
Congratulations. It's always a special thing when you meet somebody who's published a book for the first time. It's a huge accomplishment, and I hope there's more to follow for you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for being here, Tyrell. If you are interested in meeting Tyrell, picking up a copy of his book, as mentioned, you can certainly do that in person tomorrow. Chapters, 1 o'clock. He'll be there signing his book. We will be back after a quick break. Stay with us.